Hello, everyone. My name is Dibya Mukhopadhyay. I'm a principal data scientist at Zuora. And today we are going to talk about how it is like to be a data scientist in the industry. And here are the few bullet points for the introduction for the presentation. First will be my introduction. Second, my journey so far in my career. Third, my life as a data scientist, my course, how I solve my problems at work and other responsibilities that come with it, and the road ahead for you, what it means for you, what are the key takeaways for you. So, firstly, about me, I am a principal data scientist at Zora, which is a bit senior than just data scientist. So that entails not only data science work, but also some leadership roles, some communication with the higher executives, higher ups, and also, of course, the fun data science work, coding, and all of that. Other than that, though, that's not only one side of me. That's just one side of me. Other than that, I love to run. Anyone ran the San Francisco Marathon this weekend? I did the half marathon, didn't do the full, but it was a very good weather, great course. I love Harry Potter, anything to do with Harry Potter. I love, traveling to Harry Potter film locations, Universal Studios. I've seen the play 3 times now, the Cursed Child play that is in San Francisco, and so on. So I can keep on talking about it for like hours. And fourth is an aspiring globetrotter. I'm saying aspiring because I would love to travel more than I do currently, but because of again running, I so that I can be more true to the training and be disciplined. I don't travel as much as I would like to, but hopefully in the future. Alrighty. So there's a famous saying by Steve Jobs. I hope you have heard his name. That you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. And other than being a pretty savvy quote, I really believe in this quote because at any given point in time, maybe now or any time, you might think, I'm not where I am supposed to be. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Do I know where I'm going? But if you keep on taking those small steps in the right direction, hopefully looking back, you will see that those are all the right steps that got you somewhere. So, speaking of, I would like to talk about my journey so far. I come from India, a big city in India, not a small city, but still a big city in India. But I spent about till my college life in India, never really stayed anywhere other than my home. Then I moved to the US for grad school in University of Alabama in Birmingham, and that was a very enriching experience. First time outside of home, not only outside of home, but also outside in a different country, different sort of people around from different countries. All my friends were from different countries, and it was such an enriching experience to get to know other people, other cultures, to know this country as it is, and learn and adopt new things, and share my things as well. I came here for researching on machine learning topics, image processing, computer visualization. So, likes of that. It is kind of more AI, artificial intelligence driven rather than just machine learning driven. But we'll get into those topics later in the presentation. But I came for that, and I had no idea that I would end up where I am today. So that's where I started. And then through the course of my research that I figured I want to explore the industry. So I did a few internships in 2015. I did a few internships at Visa, at Google. And those were, although more engineering driven, but still focused around data, like other data analytics or building tools for data or reporting or something related to data. And after that, after I graduated in 2015, I started my career as a software engineer, data engineer initially, and I worked in a few companies in that capacity. But after that, I soon got like, call it, I would not only call it luck, but I could pursue my career as data science, as a data scientist in my first job in Westfield. And I was given the job of a data scientist, which I was very new to. And I didn't go to school for data science per se, because it was not a, like now it is a topic in school, but it was not a major or research topic or even like a field of study back when I was not too long ago, like few years ago. It was not. I'm not that old. So yeah, so I got my first job as a data scientist, and I got to learn so much, and that paved the way for me to grow today and become from data scientist into become a senior data scientist, now a principal data scientist. So it has been about 6 years, 5 6 years that I have been doing this job. So what is it to say? What is the life of a data scientist like? You know, is it all like boring data, looking into data and no fun? Well, let's talk about it. I think, you probably already have heard a bunch about what is data science, what it looks to be a data scientist from a lot of people before me. So I would like to keep it simple. We solve problems using data. So whenever there is a problem that needs to be solved and that can be solved with data, someone approaches our team and say like, hey, there's this problem, can you solve this for us? And we're like, okay, sure. Do you have the data required for the problem? So we get the data for that problem, and then we use tools like machine learning, statistics, coding, etc., to solve them. Now we can discuss what that means. What is machine learning? Machine learning, in the very simplest of terms, is basically to have a machine learn something, learn a pattern or a hidden, tricky pattern, hidden truth that you cannot see or you or me cannot see with our naked eyes in the data, that the machine will learn on its own and tell us or predict the thing for us. And are statistics or the tools of statistics help us do make a lot of sense of data, like what is the mean, what are the max, what is the median, is this data significant, the data change over time, is it significantly changing or not, is it that it seems like it's changing a lot but it's not. And finally, coding. Like today we are working in the industry, the tech industry, so essentially any kind of problem solving you have to do, you have to essentially write code for it. So any kind of coding experience, like Python, you need SQL. If you know Java, that's great. Or any of these coding platforms will give you the experience to translate your ideas into implementation. But like this can also be applied to something that a problem that is in your daily life. Say you have a baseball game coming up and you want to know which team has the most likelihood to win, and you have data from, I don't know, the last 10 years for your entire league, which team played, how which team played, how many, like which players played, what were their, ages, what were their weights or, height, weight, or how many, what was their order in which they came, or how many pitches did the bowlers make. Sorry for my cricket languages because I'm more familiar with cricket than baseball. So, or how many home runs did they hit, and when in the match, when in the game did they hit that? So, all of these things can actually help you, maybe help you predict who is going to win this time around. Um, and maybe that data is not intuitive enough for you to see, and you cannot predict it on your own looking at it. Or maybe you can, depending on your knowledge of baseball or your intuition, but you cannot quite say that how you came to that conclusion. But a machine can also, the ability for a machine to learn that on its own and be able to predict it for you is what machine learning is. And a lot of the problems that we solve using data science are predictive problems. I'm not saying all of them are predictive problems. Some of them are classification problems, like you're trying to classify um, different types of objects into different classes, but there are no essential um, commonality in between them, but they might have different similar features to them, that you're trying to group people together or group things together. Or say, for instance, I spoke about image classification or image segmentation or image visualization. Those are also applications of more artificial intelligence, and machine learning is a field of artificial intelligence. So we can solve a bunch of problems using data science and machine learning. So a key takeaway would be basically a data scientist is someone who find answers using data to predict the future or to solve a problem, equipped by tools like machine learning, statistics, mathematics, and coding. So, how do we solve the problems? It's very similar to, say, if you have a class project, right? You first go and ask, say, your teacher comes up and asks you, you have to come up with this class project, and you have, I don't know, 10 days time, and you have to present on a topic, and these are the expectations. It has to be researched well enough. It has to have aspects of what you learned from it, what others can learn from it, what can be the future of it, and things like that. And you have to put all of that together in a certain amount of time with a certain amount of people. So we identify the problem in a similar way. What is the problem? We get the problem, we gather the requirements from the stakeholders. Here, stakeholder is kind of like your class teacher. So you get the input from your teachers about how to go about it, like what is the final product that they need from you. And then finally you go put a team together. Maybe one of you lead them, and figure out which portion is taken by whom, and lead the team and put the presentation together. And then finally present it and communicate the results to the class and to the teacher, and hopefully expect, like do everything according to the expectation, and fare well in the expectation. So that is kind of the entire life cycle. You start with the problem, you work through it, and you finally work with the stakeholders to make sure that you meet their expectations, and you maybe perform beyond their expectations, in a good way. So other than these parts, like I said, being a bit more senior as a data scientist, other than problem solving, I have to also, there's another non-technical aspect of my job, which is more around leadership. And it might be the more critical one than, the technical part of the job, which is coding and, figuring out which machine learning model to use and all of that. This one is to mentor my teammates, to unblock them if they're blocked with something. Say they don't know someone and they want some problem to be solved, and to so if I can unblock them by introducing them to someone, or but if I know someone that can help them, put them in contact, or if I know a resource that can help them, give them that. So unblocking my teammates, help them grow, lead projects. By leading projects, I mean you have to expect, you have to manage the expectations, where like your class teacher might tell you, how is the project going on, are you on track, do you have any problems, and you have to make sure that your teacher is comfortable with your progress, and your team members are also not burdened, that they are not rushed or anything. So manage expectations on both the sides, and kind of see it through completion, basically, and lead to a success uh, of the project. And finally, of course, problem solving, which is the more technical part of the job, like coding, or which algorithms to use, or where are the resources, where to find the resources, find the data, how can the data be handled if it is too big, too small, and finally lead the team to the finish line. So, what does that mean for you? What do I want you to take away from this presentation? Like, do you all want to be a data scientist in the future? I don't know. We have not spoken yet, but if that is the case, or maybe you don't know it yet, and that's fine as well. It's fine to not know, but let's see. So, first step is exploration. Explore your interests. Do you like data? Like any sorts of data, like do you like to dabble in data, say it's sports data, it's geopolitical data, or social studies data, or fashion data, or any kind of data? Are you interested in looking at data and making conclusions from it, and deriving information from it, deriving more key insights from it? Or are you interested in coding? Because at the end of the day, to be in this field, you have to know somewhat how to put your ideas into code. Coding is nothing but another language. So, do you like coding? If that is the case, then data science is pretty good for you. And if not, then something else is there for you. That is also fine. But you have to identify the road for you. And that can look very different for everyone. Like I said, I came from a research background. I thought I would be in academia. I never thought I would be in industry and where I am today. So it kind of small steps led me to where I am today. So you have to find that road for yourself. So explore that however you can today and take those small steps in the right directions. And once you know what you want, you have to lay the foundation. Once you know, okay, I want to be a data scientist, then you have to take the right courses for it. You have to do the right projects for it. You have to learn the tools. You have to go take your calculus classes, your statistics classes, your coding classes. Um, and I'm pretty sure your teachers would be able to lead you in the right direction for that. And so learn the tools essentially that will help you become a strong data scientist or whatever you want to be in the future. And finally, don't forget to have fun, work, school, or otherwise. Like, work is always a little bit easier or a lot easier if you have fun with it, if you are interested in it, if it's not just work for you. And regardless, even if you are doing school assignments, if you can make that more interactive, more interesting, more fun, then it'll be a little bit less of a burden. And otherwise in life also, always have the fun aspect um, in it. Like, don't always get too hung up with failures always happen. Don't always get hung up if you don't reach one of the goals or all the goals that you wanted to. So, you know have fun on the way. And that's all that I have. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, then you can ask me. And this is my email address if you want to reach out to me via email. All right, I think I need to start. Okay. Let me stop presenting to see if there's a question. Uh, okay. If there's a question, you can ask me, or otherwise, it was nice giving the talk. Please let me know if you can email me too, if you have any questions or anything that you would like to. Yeah, so my degree was in computer science. I'm a master's in computer science, but essentially, there are a lot of courses out there today in UC Berkeley, I think also in Stanford, that would give you like a certification also for data science. So you don't have to have a grad school degree. But that being said, you can either go from computer science, you can directly go for data science oriented, like undergrad and grad school. Um, did I answer your question? I hope I did. And also, data science as a field has become a major now, which I did not have when I went to school about 5 6 years ago. So it's changed, but I think you can also go to school for data science. Any other question? So how many of you are um, absolutely aspiring data scientists, loved the conference? And it's okay if you didn't, but how many of you did? Because it's okay, and conferences and long talks can wear you down, but um hope you all liked it then. All right. Okay, perfect. I guess there are not many other questions. Yeah, I think so. Will you hire someone who goes through an intensive DS program and not degree related? I really believe so, because also in Bay Area, I think we have been very fortunate where companies are looking for talent and not necessarily degrees. I mean, degrees do help you. Don't get me wrong. Degrees do get you through the door, but that's not just the only way to get through the door. So if you are passionate about what you do, and if you are very good at what you do, and if you have the experience with projects, open source projects or collaborative projects with others, definitely I don't see why. Definitely. Great. Thank you so much. I hope you had some takeaways from the presentation, and you have a good rest of the day. Thank you.